What's up, everybody? Charlie Marlow here. Happy New Year, everybody. Jumping on. Gonna do a quick video talking baseball, talking Cardinals. I told you guys I'm going to do way more videos on camera this year, and I'm going to. I promise. That's a New Year's resolution I'm actually going to follow. I got this article from MLB.com. Power rankings, baby. Who doesn't love some good off-season power rankings? It was released on New Year's Day, so hey, it's January 2nd. It's not that old. Now I was scrolling Twitter. Haven't seen a lot of transactions or any from MLB. Maybe I missed them, but let's break this down. All right, and by the way, why am I outside? I'll tell you why. Why do I always come outside? Not always. Because my kids are off school, and they're loud, and they're crazy, and I love them, don't get me wrong, but this is also the only place I can get a little peace and quiet. And then, look, once they're in school, I'll be doing these on StreamYard. We'll have the graphics and everything will be nice. I got the light and everything, but when they're in the house, it's just crazy, okay? So I got to come outside, all right? So here we go. I did bring my laptop out here. So power rankings. We're talking Cardinals here, by the way, obviously, but let's just go down the list. One, by the way, how about this? It's not the Dodgers. Braves, number one, MLB.com, power rankings. This was by Will Leach, and a bunch of the writers voted on this. So, number one, Braves. Number two, Los Angeles Dodgers. Number three, Rangers. Number four, Baltimore Orioles. Number five, the Philadelphia Phillies. And then the rest of the field of 30. So here we go. All right. Now, when I saw this article, I always like reading these articles. I think it's good off-season fodder to talk about. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, where are the Cardinals probably in the power rankings? Where would I put the Cardinals? 30 MLB teams. Now, I'm not going to go through every single team. Remember, the Cardinals were in last place last year. I'm thinking the Cardinals probably, to me, it's pretty fair. Put them middle of the pack, maybe slightly ahead. So if middle of the pack is 15th and 16th, could I see him as 14th, something like that, knocking on the door of the playoffs? 12 teams make the playoffs. So I'm not going to say I was shocked. I would say mildly surprised to see that MLB.com, in this article, they have the St. Louis Cardinals, your St. Louis Cardinals, at 18. 18. The Minnesota Twins are 17. And the Boston Red Sox are 19. The Cardinals are 18th in the MLB.com power rankings. And here's another interesting part, which arguably I think is even more interesting than the fact that the Cardinals are only 18th. They're the fourth team in the NL Central in the rankings. So the Pirates are 26th. All right? Pirates are 26th. But you have this nice cluster of 13, 14, 15 are the Cubs 13, the Brewers 14, and the Cincinnati Reds 15. What do you think about that? Now, I understand if you look at the Cardinals being in last place last year, you go, okay, well, now they're going to be in fourth. I've said this before. I'm repeating myself. I don't think it's fair to call the Cardinals last year. They weren't a true 91-loss team. And the reason I say that is because the Cardinals, in most years, if they're competitive, they try to go for the playoffs. They do add pitching. We've seen that a couple times. Lester and Happ, Quintana and Montgomery. Well, it made no sense for the Cardinals to add pitching. In fact, they traded away their pitching last year. Flaherty, Montgomery, Chris Stratton, who else? Paul DeYoung, obviously not a pitcher, but they did a sell-off. And then they had a AAA roster. They weren't trying to win, which is what you're supposed to do when you're essentially tanking. So I don't think it's fair to look at the 2023 Cardinals and say, oh, that's just your normal 91-loss team, okay? And I think I'm pretty fair about this. I'm just saying it's going to be much easier, in my opinion, for the Cardinals to get back to 90 wins from 91 losses because I look at them more as a team. Okay, let's say they added at the deadline last year. Made no sense to do that, but then you're probably a 500 team, okay? My point is, if the Cardinals go from 91 losses in 2023 to 91 wins, let's say, in 2024, I don't think we should be terribly shocked by that, especially if they're in it. if they're in it at the deadline, the Cardinals are not going to want to go 2 years without making the playoffs. They're going to probably have to add pitching again. Let's be honest. Their entire starting rotation is 86 years old. So they'll probably add some pitching, a starter, a bullpen guy. They'll try to make the playoffs. But the fact that the Cardinals are 18th in this rankings, it looks like these MLB.com writers who, look, they cover this sport nonstop. They're not very high on the 2024 St. Louis Cardinals as constructed. And I think it's fair to say this team is pretty close to being done, I would think. Probably going to add a big time, when I say big time, like a high leverage reliever, probably not somebody crazy. Like, we're not talking Josh Hader, in my opinion, but somebody who's making, I don't know, $5, $6, $7, $8 million a year, maybe a 1 or 2 year deal. Could it be somebody like Jordan Hicks coming back? We'll see. But I don't know. I think the Cardinals right now, I think the Cardinals are super motivated. They don't want to have 2023 happen again. So I don't think they're going to be bad, even to start. But I do think they're probably going to be around 500, maybe a little above. I think we're going to see the same script we saw in 2021 and 2022. I think they're going to be around 500, a little above. I do think they'll add that pitching at the deadline, and I think they'll get to the playoffs. Remember, you have all these wild cards and all that. Getting to the playoffs isn't what it used to be, right? So I would probably put the Cardinals more 15-ish, 14. For example, like right now, as constructed, you telling me the Reds, are they better than the Cardinals? The Brewers, it seems like organizationally, aren't even really going to try in 2024. The Cubs, they already spent big on their manager. I think they're going to start spending. I think they've tried. I think you're going to start seeing the Cubs signing some players here in the next coming weeks. But I guess, like, I just don't see the Brewers being that good this year. I don't see the Brewers being better than the Cardinals because I think they're going to be in a soft rebuild. And the Reds, so let's look at the standings. So last year, Brewers, obviously, first place Central, 92 wins. Cubs, 83 wins. Reds, 82 and 80. Pirates, 76 wins. The St. Louis Cardinals in last with 71 wins. So do I think the Cardinals are going to be better than the Pirates? I do. Do I think the Cardinals are going to be... I think it's fair to put them with the Reds right now. I think the Cardinals are going to be about as good as the Reds. The difference will be, again, trade deadline. Reds will probably say, oh, we'll wait till next year. Cardinals will say, let's try to win. I think the Cubs are going to be there. I think the Cubs will spend. And I think when you sign a manager for $8 million, that is a bat signal to everyone that, hey, we're about ready to go for it. You don't sign a manager at $8 million a year and then just be done. Oh, no, we got the manager. No, you're going to start adding players. Milwaukee's the interesting team. I just feel like they're already making trades. Corbin Burns, they're not going to sign him long-term, obviously. And he's already said he's going to be a rental. He's not going to sign a Tyler Glasnow extension. So the Brewers probably makes sense for them to keep him. Don't you think you probably keep Corbin Burns? You see where you're at the trade deadline? I mean, are you going to trade him right now? You'd have to get tremendous value to trade Corbin Burns, and the other team's only going to get 1 year. If I'm the Brewers and I'm still trying to compete, I'm not sure they are. But don't you think it makes sense for the Brewers to try to compete at least to start the season? Then they'll see where they're at the deadline. I'm thinking the value you get for Corbin Burns at the deadline, is it that much different than what you'd get right now for 1 year? I know you get more right now, but is it that much different? You're still essentially talking about one playoff run. It's more about one playoff run. You're getting him for the games that matter. You're getting him for the last 50 or 60 games of the season and a playoff run. So would that team like to have Corbin Burns the whole season? Of course. But what really matters is having him for that playoff push. So I don't know. I'd have to go through all these teams. I just think the Cardinals, I think 18 is a little low for the power rankings for the Cardinals. I'd have them middle of the pack. And again, I do think the Cardinals are probably, am I ready to say they're going to make the playoffs? I think they will. But again, I want to put this out there as a disclaimer. This is going to be them needing to add pitching again, which most teams do, by the way. Most teams have to add at the deadline. Do you think the Texas Rangers were going to win the World Series without their additions? when they add somebody like Jordan Montgomery, who's an absolute freaking horse for them down the stretch. I mean, this happens every year. There's big additions at the deadline that puts a team over the top to win the World Series. So there you go. Not a long video. Hope you guys had a happy New Year. I am going to do more on-camera stuff. I said that. And by the way, comment, like, subscribe. And here's another thing I want to keep saying. Share the show. Share the channel, okay? If you like this channel, if you like this particular video, post it on social media and say, hey, check this out. Or put it in your group text with your friends who are all Cardinal fans. Or let people know. Do you hear that? Look at that. Is that my daughter? Look at that. See, that's what I'm trying to do. That's why I get outside. It's perfect timing. My daughter is pounding on the window. You could probably hear that. And I got to go now because I probably have to go do something, lunch, whatever it is. Oh, look. Look at him. Now he's squawking. My son. There you go. Perfect timing. I was ready to be done anyway. Quick video. Comment, like, subscribe, share the show. Social media, with your friends. Tell people about it. Get other people to subscribe. The more people that watch, the more subscribers and all that, the more content and videos I'm going to do. We're going big on this channel and a bunch of other channels in 2024. And I'll have news on that coming up, I think, on Thursday. We'll have a little update about what's going on in 2024 because we have some big changes. And YouTube, we're about to get crazy with the YouTube. All right, my kids are yelling for me, so I got to go be a parent. Love you guys. Cardinals, 18th. What do you think? Drop your comments. 18th, too high, too low, right where they should be. What do you think? All right, see you guys. Happy New Year. Peace out.